Everyone has seen the blockbuster Jurassic Park. Directed by Steven Spielberg and written by Michael Crichton, the film follows the downward spiral of a theme park which has resurrected dinosaurs and cloned them for human viewing. As the film goes on, the thin separations between man and animal crumble, and the two sides each roam into off-limits territory, dinosaurs with humans and humans with dinosaurs. This kind of plot, a tale of an overambitious humanity versus an ultimately untamable nature, is an old one predating the film many years. However, Jurassic Park is what brought it to the big screen, seconded only perhaps by James Whales's Frankenstein from 1931. But Jurassic Park certainly made it an awe-inducing, thrilling experience, the likes of which had never been seen before. Though not as highly praised or universally known as Spielberg's blockbuster, one of Crichton's earlier films showcases a very comparable quandary to that which is found in Jurassic Park. The 1973 film, Westworld, is what I'm referring to, and though Crichton found much more success in his writing contributions to Jurassic Park, I find that Westworld has some very interesting things to say as well. In its portrayal of a Wild West theme park for vacationers, which inevitably goes awry, Westworld aims to explore shallow commercialization and its consequences in a similar manner to Jurassic Park, though without the element of nature. Since Westworld was written and directed by Crichton, who also wrote Jurassic Park, it's not too surprising to find that there are many glaring parallels between his later success and this lesser-known prototype. For starters, both films contain main plots centered around the precarious human occupation of a futuristic and relatively experimental theme park. Obviously, Jurassic Park approaches the idea of dinosaur resurrection, while Westworld presents a time capsule of the Old West, animated and brought to life by animatronic robots.
I shot 6 people. Well, they weren't real people.
What Mr. Lewis means is he shot 6 robots, scientifically programmed to look, act, talk, and even bleed just like humans do.
However, whereas Jurassic Park places great importance on its indictment of human meddling in natural affairs best left buried, Westworld tackles manhood and escapism, and lambasts commercialism like Jurassic Park does. A good 20 years prior at that. Though Jurassic Park poses a fictional scenario in which nature is criminally reduced to a caged spectacle separated from mankind by protective segregators, Westworld presents the plunging of modernized men into an interactive getaway made specifically for their ecstatic occupation within it.
Contact us today, or see your travel agent. Boy, have we got a vacation for you.
The plot of Westworld differs from Jurassic Park in that the protagonist's happiness arc comes not from straying off the beaten path and diverting from the course laid by the park's designers, but rather by wholeheartedly leaping into the world that has been curated specifically for folk like him, thus allowing himself to be led along this fantasy by men in a computer room. The film follows this exact development in the protagonist, Peter, a well-off white-collar workman who learns to lean into the role-playing required to really immerse himself into the Western theme park. The opening scene of the film explains how a trip to any of the 3 historically themed parks is a sought-after commodity, and, looking at the dress and manner of the 2 main leads, the park appears to be a getaway for the relatively wealthy.
Now, when they give you the gun belt, does it have those strings to tie around your leg? If that's the kind you want. That's the kind I want. I think it's probably better for quick draws, you know?
In line with Peter's ostensible background, he is initially unimpressed with the authentic rusticism of his shabby room.
Paying $1,000 a day for this?
Though he starts the film a tad timid and underwhelmed with the vacation, he learns to blend in and open himself to all the experiences the place has to offer. By loosening his collar a bit, starting some trouble with cantankerous residents, and learning to wholly embrace the fantasy, he reconnects with his manhood in a way.
Was he bothering you? He's gonna bother you again.
The film feels like a very early take on video games, before video games obviously, as the film presents men who are the product of modern society, yet yearn for something more, something exciting, as many gamers feel.
Thank you for visiting New Base.
The men enjoy their stay at the park when there is an assurance of no consequences for their actions. Their fellow residents are robotic and programmed to be pacifistic, and the guns they are given are designed to only fire when pointed at a robotic entity, thus locking up when aimed at a real human.
Shoot!
The gun has a sensing device. It won't fire at anything with a high body temperature. Only something cold like a machine.
In essence, it's a rehashing of the Wild West, only without any of the high stakes, and tailored to the suitabilities of the rather soft men paying for such a trip. It's essentially no consequence escapism.
In Westworld, frustrations find release.
As such, the park acts as a no-boundaries opportunity for the men to tap into their uncivilized impulses, which are undoubtedly subdued and dormant in the confines of high-class society.
While you are there, please feel free to indulge your every whim. Please feel free to indulge your every whim.
Westworld acts as a Hollywood-induced reminiscing of the West. All of the cool aspects are here in spades. The women, the heroism, the adrenaline. It's a modern man's fantasy of the West that can make an office worker giddy like a kid on Christmas.
John, this place is really fun.
It's a place where anyone can be John Wayne or Clint Eastwood for a while, and as such, the protagonists gradually learn to occupy their space just as their Hollywood heroes would. They won't be punished for their indulgence in a bit of cheeky gunplay, since, after all, it's all fantasy anyways, even if it feels real.
Did it seem real to you, sir?
It's the realest thing I ever done. I mean that.
But if the assurance of total indemnity is what makes the vacation spot so coveted by men thirsty for adventure, then it's really the park's inauthenticity which attracts its stayers. It's the fictitious power trip that satiates the men's desires, the knowledge that those they pick on won't bite back because they're not real.
There's no way to get hurt here. Just enjoy yourself.
It's an opportunity to be the big dog with impunity, but when the script is flipped and the training wheels are taken off, these men are knocked down a few pegs, showing their first-class, comfortable living roots.
God damn it! Do you suppose it's real? Hell no! That's not supposed to happen!
Moreover, when one of the robots goes rogue and sets out on a hunt for the two leads who shot him down previously, Westworld truly turns into a real Western simulation, fit with vindictive shootouts and all. The vacation resort, as shown before, is then blatantly ousted as a romanticization of the period, solely done for profit from the consumers who are looking for a comfortable getaway. Also, the men themselves are again displayed as obviously unaccustomed to and detached from this old world way of living.
I'm shot.
What?
I'm shot.
When faced with the prospect of actual fatality, Peter flees, knowing that he's slower on the draw than the human-facing mechanism confronting him. After a long chase sequence strangely reminiscent, or rather inspiring of, John Carpenter's later Halloween films, Peter overcomes his foe through situational wit befitting an adventure film lead. With the tense chase scene, the protagonist is met with real adventure and excitement, not the corporate manufactured confrontation seen earlier.
Pretty realistic, huh?
Listen, are you sure he was,
Of course, you don't really think he shot anybody, do you?
The film's ending punctuates the notion that escapism is reality caked in specially tailored fantasy. Though it provides a momentary rush and the excitement is rewarding, it isn't real, and there's no harsher way to bring that home than to find yourself fleeing from a homicidal robot with no off switch.
The medieval world, Roman world, and Westworld. Contact us today or see your travel agent. Boy, have we got a vacation for you. Vacation for you.